So what we've seen over the last 12 months is an acceleration of account being compromised, mostly on Twitter, to be frank, and most of the time because of social engineering or phishing emails. So you receive an email prompting you to go to a website and give away your password, and of course this is the weakest link, and this weakest link exists because in some organization, social accounts have just been created without any control and without any governance. So the first element of the first thing that we have to do to secure our accounts is to install that governance, right? Which is a mix of editorial policy, commercial policy, UGC policy, but also which assets are out there, and actually who control these assets, and who has admin right on these assets. And the second step is, okay, now that we know this, how can we avoid any single point of failure? And most of the time, the single point of failure is the admin of the account. So we went through an exercise of, if you like, separating the operational access of these accounts with the admin access of that account. So we have different personas, different users, and the users which actually control the accounts can't be phished because they don't exist. And that's one way to make sure that you have more security, because as I've said, it seems like suddenly people realize, well, if I do take control of that account which broadcasts messages to millions of people, I have an element of power. And I'm surprised that we haven't seen much more of this happening. So I think we're getting there. But again, it's not only a technological issue, it's also an education and governance issue. So the mix of all of these things helps you secure the way you operate. So now that we've removed that bottleneck, which is worrying about, okay, are we going to be hacked or not, we can focus on doing what matters for our brands. So whatever we do, it always have to fit into 5 objectives, which is either raising awareness, or sending traffic to website, or connecting and getting emails, or prompting people to purchase things, right? So that's, if you like, the framework. The creativity comes from knowing the audience. That's the first step, which is, okay, what is my target audience? What are their needs? And based on this, we can then define the mission of the profile of the accounts, its promise, its personality, its threats, and then that gives us prompt to create specific contents. It always relies on at least one main narrative, the master story, if you like. But then attached to that story, we have sub-stories. We have stories which are linked to what's happening in the world. We have stories which are linked to objects which are attached to the brands. In the world of car, for example, object could be races, could be conference, could be exhibits. And we create stories for all of this sub-narrative, if you like. All of this creates about 30 posts, 30 tweets per week for us in social. And success is about mixing this kind of day-to-day content publishing with some surprises, some innovation. So we tend to surprise people or to innovate once a month with some specific campaign, some specific application, and a mix of this creates the engagement and help us be creative. UGC is at the heart of social media, of course, right? And immersing people into our brands is possible because they actively participate. So we give them ideas, we prompt them to do things, but the outcome relies on people to do this thing themselves and to share with us what they've done. So, for example, on Doctor Who, last year when it was snowing, we asked people to take picture of snowman that they did with Doctor Who monsters. We've received thousands of pictures of pieces of art, of really statues in snow, amazing things. At Halloween, we've asked people to carve stuff in pumpkins. Again, thousands of. I don't know if you're aware of the weeping angels in Doctor Who. You know the angels. It's more or less statues. If you don't watch them, they come to you and they try to attack you. If you watch them, they stop and they are like statues. So we've asked people to go around the world take picture of statues of weeping angels. And again, we've received a huge number. Like I said today, every weekend we ask our Top Gear fan to tell us how they're going to use their car. And again, we received thousands of pictures of people driving there and showing us the countryside and showing us how they've been fine-tuning their cars and this kind of. So UGC is at the heart of social media, and what I would like to do more is peer-to-peer services. So it's one thing to engage and have fun with your audience, but I think the grail for us is to have the audience have fun with one another. So just giving them an infrastructure to play with and do stuff with one another, right? It could be marketplaces, it could be, I don't know. So this is one thing that I would like to think more about, because if you do this, then it's a win-win for all. Organizations have to spend less money and investments in creating engagement, and fans are happy because they have a reason to engage with one another. So it's a win-win situation. So yeah.